This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. The lead stories are: White House says it's navigating uncharted territory after being pushed for an explanation on UFOs. So they're calling balloons UFOs. TikTok is reportedly working on paywalled videos and a revamped creator fund. Z Library returns to the rejoice of broke college students and aims to avoid seizures by giving each user a secret URL. And Google employees criticize CEO for dumpster fire response to ChatGPT. I want to welcome you to episode 1650 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, February 13th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And you can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/listener by participating in the Value for Value program. I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com, get subscribed or follow to the show while you're there. Sign up for our newsletter, look for our Discord channel and our previous show notes, or even join our chat room, which is a Mastodon chat room at geeknews.chat. You can always contact me via email, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, or on Twitter at geeknews. Feel free to follow me on Facebook as well, just by searching for my name, Todd Cochran. All the partner shows are linked at the very top of the website at geeknewscentral.com. Includes a new media show. Includes a GNC Week in Review, not weekly. And then, of course, the Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain. Check out those three shows and get subscribed to them. Of course, this show is sponsored and supported by the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast, by our good friends at GoDaddy. We definitely want to thank GoDaddy for being a long-time sponsor of the show and their ongoing support that makes me to be able to do what I do by keeping the lights on, the writers paid. Everything goes along with producing the show, keeping the insurance, keeping the rent paid, everything. And your support of this is a significant, major contribution for that continuing. So here's what you are going to do. If you have not yet made yourself an online presence, it's time to start today. $1.99 a month. Economy hosting for the first year. $24 gets you going. Includes a free domain name. Or $2.99 a month, just under $36 a month, gets you going with a managed WordPress hosting site for the first year with a free domain name. Those are the two best deals to get you started, get you going, get you online, get your online business set up, start a podcast, do whatever you want. Is the deal. The deal. There's nothing like it exist anywhere. I like that $2.99 a month managed WordPress plan myself because they take the hassle away of maintaining it, updating it, keeping it secure, all that stuff. $1.99 a managed economy hosting gives you options on different stuff you can install. You want to do e-commerce, they've got that. You want to install a different type of website, you can do that. They got all kinds of plugins. It's good to go. $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with free domain. Or pick up a brand new domain name or transfer one for brand new customers for $4.99. Or 30% off new product purchases using my promo code, or even a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal, business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. So here's what you got to do. Listen now. We want you to get over to Geek News Central, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Click on the link, lock in savings today. I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here, taking care of the show. It's critical in these times, in this economy, and with everything going on. I need you to support my sponsor. And thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here of the Geek News Central podcast. Okay, so what's happening, everybody? How's it going? Well, the changeover to the the dynamic RSS feeds has seemed to went okay. There's no complaints. Subscriber numbers are stayed the same. No one's complaining they're missing any of the show content, show commentary. Things have switched at Apple in different places, so maybe we're good. Haven't heard any complaints. We're also streaming HLS so that those that are using a new podcast app that supports live streaming, the live lit tag, because we are live and lit, we are doing video and audio streaming. I'm going to watch my bill on this one. Don't know how much it's actually cost me. I was trying to figure it out today. I guess we'll find out at the end of the month. But that's up and running. It was a great weekend here in Michigan. Weather was fantastic. We actually got some sunshine in the 50s. I don't know if it's going to last very long, but cannot complain. So also, I'm looking for a little feedback. Have you heard any difference in the audio version of the show? Because what we have done is I used to do the Auphonic mastering with the software tool. Now that we have the Auphonic integration at Blueberry, when I just basically upload the media mastering happens automatically. So have you heard a difference with the sound quality on the audio side, specifically the audio side, video side still being done manually, which with the same, supposedly the same algorithms. So let me know what you're hearing on the audio side. All right, I did fix a channel issue that we're having that I think in the new media show is making Rob Greenlee sound funny. There was a channel that was dropping out, and the way the system is processed, and I've got all kinds of wires going on here, I didn't notice it, and so hopefully Wednesday's show will be better for him. All right, so I want to get into this stack, but I've been watching, just like the rest of you, this insanity going on with these spy balloons, and it's very, very obvious to me that they're a bit perplexed, or they know so much that they can't say anything for it's going to cause World War III. This shoot down of this first one, we saw the dramatic video. Now, why they didn't shoot it with bullets is beyond me, and why they didn't shoot it down over land is beyond me, because they wouldn't have to be diving into water to find it. Just like this one they shot down last night over Lake Huron. Why? Why did they shoot it down over a lake again? It's not like northern Michigan is that populated. It really isn't. Now, I have no doubt. I have no doubt whatsoever that they have had aircraft flying against these things, taken imagery of them. I have no doubt in my mind, knowing what I used to do. I have no doubt that they have gotten fantastic imagery up close and personal before they shot these things down. And I have no doubt in my mind there's been signal intelligence collected on them. I have no doubt in my mind. But why are we shooting these things down over bodies of water? Why? It's the stupidest thing. It is absolutely the stupidest thing that I've ever seen. Is it because they don't want to recover it? Now, what do you get by collecting the equipment? Well, you get everything. Even if it's smashed, even if it's kind of broken up a little bit, you get everything. You get to see what kind of antennas. You get to see what kind of receivers. You get to see all kinds of manufacturing stuff. You can tell a lot just by what it's hooked up to. You can see if it's UHF, VHF. You can see what frequency it's exploiting. There's all kinds of stuff you can see. You can see if there's satellite communications back. You can see if there's, it just goes on and on and on. All the stuff you can determine if you have the piece of equipment. Give me the piece of equipment, and in about 2 or 3 hours, I can probably give you a pretty good explanation of potentially what this thing was collecting in the spectrum at least. And how it was being sent home. This is not complicated. It really, really is not. Yet they shoot these things down over water because they're worried to fall on somebody's house. That's the least. The way the government spends, they shot a missile at these things. Why didn't they just dun, 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 shoot a few holes in the balloon, then let it slowly descend and follow it down as it landed? And if it landed on somebody's house, you give them the $2.8 million it costs for the missile that they shot. Come on, let's. We're not that stupid. We really are not. So for them to shoot this thing down over water every time. Now, of course, the one up in Alaska, I guess, landed on land. And it's cold up there, so they're having a hard time finding it, of course. But let me tell you something. It's not that difficult. It really is not. The jet can see where this thing's going. It's going down. The jet can circle and get within at least a mile diameter. At least a mile diameter of where it landed. It's not like this thing is doing evasive maneuvers. And yet they let it, at least two of them, splash into the water. Now, the Canadians have been talking about their deal a little bit. But our administration, I don't understand. They can't get their heads out of their butts. And I was blown away. I was blown away by a general and his comments on the one that was shot down over Lake Huron. Don't know what's keeping it afloat. Don't know its point of origin. Don't know what it was. Reporter asked, was it of alien nature? And the general said, I'm not ruling that out. What? 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 You have got to be beeping kidding me. Its point of origin is China. Its ability to stay afloat is from from gas. A balloon probably in a box. You guys seen balloons have been floating in parades, and they're made to look like everything, right? I believe you got Snoopy balloons flying around. So it's not much of imagination to consider that someone has potentially encased a balloon with some type of radar reflecting type of material that makes them harder to see. Now, knowing a little bit, just a little bit about radar, I will admit that when something is very small, moving very slow, the ability to detect it is harder, especially if a big part of the material is balloon material that really doesn't reflect that much, whereas the gear hanging below it would. But again, depending on the frequency of the radar, and there's a whole bunch of other factors, will determine if you get a blip. Takes a certain amount of metal to get a radar return, or a good one. Some of it might be a little fuzzy, make it a little harder. So this is why they've tuned the radars. When they say they've tuned the radars, I understand what they're talking about. Doing some frequency changes. But it's moving. It's barely moving. You get a location. You say, okay, it's 182 miles. And you give a range, and you give a lat long, and you send an airplane out there to take a look. As long as the sun's shining and they're pinging this thing and updating, you probably pretty easy to get a location. And you add a radar to a fighter aircraft, and you probably can get up close and personal to this thing. And to think that they couldn't have picked a spot on a map with about a 10-mile square that was not so populated and drop this thing into that area. During Monday's White House press briefing, John Kirby, President Biden's National Security Council coordinator for Strategic Communications, said it was unclear if there's any releasable images of the 3 downed UFOs, which is actually 4. UFOs are calling them. He added they couldn't say what the standard would be going forward on handling further incursion into U.S. airspace and ensure if it was indeed as strange that no country had yet to claim responsibility. The Chinese are not going to claim responsibility. We're dropping these things into water, and they're going, how stupid. They're over there. They're over there clanking champagne bottles and laughing in the bars. I guarantee it. I would be. I don't know what kind of imagery might exist, and they'd be wanting to talk about whether they're releasable or not. Well, I am sure, knowing this business, that we're not going to see very many pictures. We might see some remnants of a balloon and maybe some metal, but we're not going to see any pictures of the gear. I can just tell you that already. It's not going to happen. Those things have a big, fat, juicy, top secret stamp on them with some sort of special access code. They're not coming out. We're not getting any pictures. We might get a couple from afar, but there's not going to be anything that's going to be up close. You're not going to get super high resolution 1600 pixel images. It's not happening. There's no way. I know this business. No way. And your average military guy that has a security clearance is also not going to get to see these pictures either. These things are going to be locked down tighter than China. But why do we shoot it down over water? It just boggles my mind. So these other 3, they didn't have propulsion. They weren't being maneuvered. It was basically they were being driven by the wind. We don't know for sure whether they had a surveillance aspect to them, but we can't rule it out. So there's a little bit. There's none of us. And there again, all of a bunch of caution, doing the prudent thing. The president directed, they get taken down. Well, then they started blaming Trump. It's Trump's fault that none of this was detected. Trump's fault that this has all happened. Amazing how they run home to mama every single time. So we're not going to find out too much. Chinese aren't going to say too much because the Chinese are laughing at us. They say, look at these stupid Americans. Look at these idiots. That's what they're saying. We are the mockery. And I feel sorry for my military brethren on the incompetency of the leadership that is directing their actions. I appreciate their service and what they're doing, but the absolute stupidity that we're shooting stuff down over water just boggles my mind to no end. And I guess you know how I feel about that. And so I guess we'll have to see what the Canadians have to say. They seem to be the ones that want to talk. But yet we have a U.S. general at NORAD that's not ruling out that this could be alien technology. Now, let me tell you something. Do you really think if it was from another planet, they'd be able to shoot this down? It would just disappear. It'd go zoom, just like stuff normally does in UFO stories. What say you? geeknews@gmail.com. This is an embarrassment. I'm utterly embarrassed. I've had multiple WTF moments this past week. It just drives me crazy. But to be honest with you, I do wish I was still reading classified message boards. And for my brothers out there that still are, I hope and pray that we aren't being made a mockery of, but it sure the hell looks like it to me. Meanwhile, Chinese TikTok is reportedly working on paywalled videos and a revamped creator fund. They want to boost usage even further and expand older audiences. So, among the features and works, allow creators to set a price on their content. Viewers would pay $1 or some other fee chosen by the creator to watch videos, according to the report. Exclusive content only for paying fans is a tactic other companies like Instagram have made. Of course, we got some stories about Instagram today as well. Try to entice creators. Well, I'm a podcaster. I'm not a creator. On Instagram, for example, creators can share subscriber-only posts, real stories, and other content not available to other followers. So, anyway, if you're big on TikTok, get ready to be able to charge $1 or more. Meanwhile, college students, last fall, the U.S. Department of Justice pushed the ebook pirate site Z Library onto the dark web after charging its alleged operators with criminal copyright infringement, wire fraud, money laundering. Back then, Z Library users, including many college students who relied on the site as a source for free textbooks, weren't sure if Z Library would be still able to operate. Well, this weekend, thousands of Z Library fans rejoiced when Z Library officially staged its comeback on the public access internet by launching a universal login page and setting up secret personal domains for users, which will probably leak all over the place. So the pirate ebook site is back for all your college needs. And Torrent Frank reported that Z Library tactic of signing unique domain creates a technical setup that anticipates future enforcement action. So they say don't disclose your personal domain and don't share the link to your domain as it is protected with your own password and cannot be accessed by other users. Z Library wrote in a blog post. It still has to have an originating domain name. And those will leak. There's no way. People are idiots. They will talk, and then the service will go away again for those that are using it. So anyway, for now, Z Library lives on. Google employees criticize CEO dumpster fire response to ChatGPT. I didn't realize that the example they had given of their Bard, or Barf, or whatever we want to call it, got the answer wrong on its sample post. And Bing ate Google's lunch. And, of course, Google didn't include any public product launch. Instead, opted a private trusted tester program, blah, blah, blah. According to the CNBC report, one employee wrote that rushing Barf to market in panic validated the market fear about us. Another posted a picture of a dumpster fire with a Google logo on it, saying it was representative of how everything felt since last year. Another criticized how stock-focused the company seems to be lately, firing 12,000 people, rising stock by 3%, and then having a 12% drop because of a failed rush embarrassed demonstration. 12% their stock's down. So good job, Google. Good job. It's being reported 11,000 sites have been infected with malware that's good at avoiding detection on WordPress sites. So I took quite a read on this. I need to do another one. But 10,890 sites are infected, and they run WordPress, and they have an obfuscated PHP script that was injected into legitimate files powering websites, including the index PHP, WP signup PHP, WP activate PHP, WP cron PHP, and many, many more. That means maybe you didn't have the permissions set right to prevent those files from being written, but that doesn't seem to happen too often now. But someone has gotten something wrong, and something's been written in where it should not have been. So have the link up in the show notes to check that out. An artificial intelligence agent. They're calling it an AI agent. This is what we're calling them now, humanizing the AI. The AI flew a U.S. Air Force training aircraft for over 17 hours. Lockheed says first time the AI has flown a tactical aircraft. It flew the Vista X-62A training aircraft for 17 hours. The variable in-flight simulation test aircraft can use software to simulate the performance characteristics of other aircraft. Oh, it's a simulation test aircraft? Okay. On this occasion, it mimicked a human pilot instead. The flight took place during a testing period in December. This is the first time AI has been engaged such a way on a tactical aircraft. The aim is to use the platform to test aircraft designs that can be flown autonomously. So I guess they didn't really fly. I guess it says it was virtual, right? Vista variable in-flight simulation test aircraft. Okay. So I'm reading here some more stuff on this. But anyway, we've had flying stuff for a long time. It's called simulators, called flight simulators. Computers have been flying flight simulators for a long time. I'm sure there was more to this, but you know what I mean. I'm sure this is going to work out real good, too. California's first electric short hop ferry launches in 2024. The Angel Island is about to get an EV makeover. Huh. And the Angel Island Ferry is partnering with PG&E to retrofit one of its watercraft as an EV. As part of the partnership, PG&E will help install charging infrastructure at the Angel Island Ferry Terminal and boost electrical transmission to the facility so the 59-foot-long Angel Island can carry residents and tourists without polluting, quote unquote, the San Francisco Bay. Another company called Green Yachts will carry out the work of retrofitting a ship with an electric propulsion system. So what's it going to be? I'll make one trip a day? That is the question. How many runs will it be able to make on one charge? And then, this stuff, we'll see. Until they have some power problems there in California, and then people won't be able to use the ferry because, this summer people in California couldn't charge their electric vehicles. They were told not to, at least. Yes, I'm being a little cynical, just a little bit. Hey, if you are watching or listening to this show lit on a new podcast app at newpodcastapps.com, we definitely want to hear from you. We want to hear those boosts come in. So if you want to support the show, all you got to do is hit a boost. Send us a message during the show. We did get some boosts that came in on the last show. Definitely appreciate that. So thank for everyone that sent some boost in. But anyway, very, very cool when people do that. So get on a new podcast app at newpodcastapps.com. All right, moving on here. We got to find where I was at. Twitter delays new paid API launch by a few more days. So it was supposed to come live today, but it's not ready. So they're still getting the kinks worked out. And that's kind of what's been happening to Twitter lately. So just a heads up there. Google Pay versus Samsung Pay versus Meta Pay versus Amazon Pay versus Apple Pay. If you want to know the difference between really all five of these, you're just enriching these companies whenever you use these pay systems. And just let you know, they make a percentage on you every time. But Android Central has a good article breaking it down on where you can save your credit card info and all that stuff. Link will be up in the show notes. Samsung's Galaxy S22, 21, and 20 and foldable devices are getting the One UI 5.1 update. This is a highly anticipated update. It's rolling out to a plethora of Galaxy devices. The update is, again, rolling out to these older flagship models. The update comes with a number of enhancements to the gallery, Bixby multitasking, and more. So just be aware that those updates are coming to those devices. You like Wendy's fries? Well, you can get a week's worth of fries all week if you order through their app. Starting today, Wednesday's offering you free fries until Sunday, February 19th. If you make a purchase via their app, here are the cheapest and best options so you can choose from the menu so you can get a good deal all week long. So link will be in the show notes on that. I noticed my Wendy's is barely open in town. They're running on very limited hours. But you can order a Honest Kids fruit punch for 99 cents or apple bites for $1.29 or chocolate chunk cookie for $1.59. But just go over and get yourself a nice Wendy's single with some fries and a Coke, and then get free fries the rest of the week. But who wants to sit in the drive-thru to get free fries all week? Not me. Not worth the gas to do so. Some main employees are getting paid to do zero work as the company embarks on a year of efficiency. Well, it appears because of all the layoffs and because of all the shifting of budgets, there's a large number of people just sitting around twiddling their thumbs because they have been giving no task. How is that even possible? The company's delayed budget setting for some teams as it gears up for the new round of layoffs per Financial Times. That has resulted in some staff doing zero work because managers have not been able to plan their schedules. Sounds like the government. There's been a lack of clarity about some budgets, which would typically get finalized in future headcount in recent weeks. Hence, project and decision typically take days to sign off or taking up to a month. This has caused some staff to do zero work because managers have not been able to plan their schedule. If I was a manager, they would be doing something. They would be working on something, and we would figure it out later. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But, hey, when you get so big, things happen. Your home address is leaked on the internet? How do you delete it? Well, I have had my address on the internet for years. Well, there are some, if you don't want your address on the internet, there are some removal services, and I don't know if PC World got paid by this company, but Incogni is, you can guarantee this is a paid, this pisses me off. Here's an article on PC World. Your home address is leaked on the internet. How to delete it? Why use an automated personal data removal such as Incogni is your best bet. And it goes into this whole article, and it talks about, then at the very bottom it says, this way for 50% off the purchase price and further reading. That's such a PC World, go pack sand. We're taking that one off the show notes. Toyota will recall 16,680 RAV4 Primes due to faulty battery software. Too much time in EV mold and cold weather can drop the battery below its buffer. So, expect a recall on your vehicle. 16,680 2021 RAV4 Primes. Be proactive. You might get in early. Bing AI with ChatGPT now available to some users. Email invites users the full version of the search engine went out this morning. I put myself on the list. I didn't see if I got one or not. I'll definitely take a look. Hey, by the way, my panic over Red Bull, the summer edition, it's back in stock everywhere. It must mean that this is going to be part of their normal lineup, but it still says summer edition on it. So it must have sold well enough to make the permanent market, but I did stock up a little bit more in case this is just something weird. Did you get an invite to the Bing AI to test it? The hocus pocus? The magic trick that they're doing with this? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Now, this is the beginning of the end, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Apple wants to offer your digital life for rent. Confirming 7 years of speculation, Apple is working on a dedicated iPhone subscription plan along with a raft of other financial services. Apple as a service. In a nutshell, Apple plans to let people rent iPhones and other Apple hardware just like they already paid for Apple Music, and the pace of speculation is accelerating. Unlike the iPhone upgrade scheme, in which users do eventually purchase their device and own it, this scam would let Apple rent devices for a flat fee, something the company hoped to induce last year. So you basically get to rent your computer, You get to rent your mouse, your keyboard, get to rent your iPhone, your iPad, where you are perpetually, forever in debt to this company. Now, it's okay if we can still buy our devices and own them. But what happens when we're just stuck paying a reoccurring bill every month for the stuff that we used to own and keep forever? Music, videos. It's the nickel and diming us to death. It is okay to still have all of your media for all of your music. It is okay to still have your media for your movies and not have to pay a service. But good luck getting a DVD on some movies today. You can't. Good luck. Unless it's a hijacked one. DoorDash. Boy, I tell you, DoorDash is very convenient, boy, but those charges, it just, it drives a $20 dinner up to 30 or 40 bucks. So, DoorDash is convenient, but boy, you're surely paying for that. Did not watch the Super Bowl, did not watch any commercials, but DoorDash Super Bowl commercial pushes its on-demand grocery business. And they definitely want to do your grocery shopping for you. And I'll admit, I am pretty set on letting someone do my grocery shopping for me. I usually order my groceries and go to the grocery store and have them basically delivered to the car. Today, I had to go, God, I hate Walmart. Had to go to Walmart to pick something up, and standing in a line 30 deep, self-checkout, because there was no checkouts available. So insane. To pick up a couple of things. I first time in a Walmart in maybe more than a year. Won't be back anytime soon. Now, some people are just stupid. I'm sorry. A man has died after sneaking a loaded firearm into an MRI room. Oh, yeah. You can imagine what has happened here. When medical professionals offer instructions before a procedure, they're usually doing so for a reason. That was apparently lost on Leonardo Matthias de Novas, who ignored an MRI's lab no metal rule and brought a loaded firearm to his mother's appointment. So this was happening in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The mother was scheduled to undergo an MRI, and he had a gun in his waistband. And, of course, as soon as they fired up the MRI machine, the magnetic field pulled the gun from his waistband, causing the gun to discharge. Holy smokes. The bullet entered his stomach, and, yes, he died. Metal and MRI, they don't go well together. Don't understand. Now, he's a fierce pro-gun advocate, but I think all of us that, like the Second Amendment, would understand you probably should not walk into an MRI with a gun in your waistband. It might end badly like it did for him. Jeez. Craziness. Ford electric vehicles are getting faster charging and more affordable batteries thanks to new chemistry. Someone told me the other day that there's now a 9,000-mile battery out there. Did you hear about that? They're looking for investors. I said, yeah, good luck on that one. If that was true, they'd already have all the investment money they would ever need for a lifetime. The company announced a new $3.5 billion factory in Michigan will produce EV batteries made with lithium iron phosphate chemistry. Ford says its LFP batteries will be faster charging and longer lasting than its current EV batteries. Blah, 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 blah. Link will be up in the show notes. Wonder how much your iPhone 14 Max costs? Well, it costs $3.7 more to make than the iPhone 13. They broke down the price, and they say that to create an iPhone 14 Pro Max costs Apple up to $474. The BOM cost, the sub-gigahertz model, comes to $454, assuming a 44% MM wave mix. And so anyway, 450 to 460 is about the price. So that's what it actually cost them to make it, and that big $500 markup. Twilio is going to lay off another 1,500 employees, or 17% of its workforce. It comes after an already laid off around 11% in September. So this is another big whack to their workforce. Google miscalculated severance pay for some Googlers. Double counting share units led to mistakes. So they basically said, hey, that money we're going to give you, well, it wasn't right. We miscalculated. And so anyway, we're going to send you the new number. So I hope those folks didn't go out and count their chickens before they hatched. The Mac OS Venture 13.2.1, iPad OS 16.3.1, and iOS 16.3.1 updates that Apple released today. Please do the update, as there is a 0-day vulnerability in there. They want you to update, so I'm sure you'll see that update happen on your phone. Not surprisingly, the Pentagon is shockingly bad at managing its employees' smartphones. Well, when I worked for the DoD, I did not have ever a government-issued phone. But I do know something about their phone management system, because I did have some involvement in some of that later on. And yes, it's not so good. Officials are using government official devices much like a teenager would, with security implications. And this is after a 2021 audit of the Defense Service, and talks about how people are putting stuff on there and doing things they shouldn't. I never, ever, really ever wanted a phone issued by the DoD. I had no desire, because when you have a phone issued by your employer, guess what they can do? They can call you 24/7. No, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I already worked hard enough. I did not need to be called in the middle of the night. Well, they'd call me anyway on my regular phone, but I had the opportunity to not answer it if I didn't want to, although I pretty much always did. Comcast is ending free Peacock access for Xfinity subscribers. So if you thought you were getting Peacock as part of your deal being part of Xfinity, bye-bye. It's gone. Starting April 3rd, it will no longer be offered to new subscribers. As of June 26th, existing customers will be cut. So you get it free until June 26th, and after that, sayonara. A little bit of an article here about Instagram. Instagram specifically, sex censorship sweeps up educators, adult stars, and adult workers. They say that Instagram unfairly controls their accounts while letting celebrities dodge the same rules. And it's probably true. It's just like any other platform. They have, you're safe until you do something really stupid moves for celebrities, because they want them on the platform. But this is a pretty good article about how folks that tried to stay within the rules often got their accounts suspended, even for not breaking the rules, just because of what they did in life. Adult film stars, that type of stuff. So one said, every morning when I log into my phone, even if it takes a moment to load Instagram, I have an adrenaline rush. Imagine stress. Imagine wake up every morning, wonder if you've lost your career. So why do these folks continue to build their careers on their own platforms? Why don't these people that are so popular, adult performers and so forth, why don't they have their own websites? Why don't they build their own brand? Why don't they do every minute that they're promoting on Instagram to promote them to their own website, where they can't be cut off, where they could have the same user experience without restrictions? Instagram rules, many say the company's moderation efforts have gone more punitive and less predictable after policies put in place in 2018 following the passage of federal law targeting human trafficking on the internet called SESTA/FOSTA. 10 people in the sex work industry who spoke with NBC News said they go to great lengths to stay within the boundary of Instagram's guidelines, keenly aware their content could be struck, their account restricted any moment. Still, they said Instagram has removed their content and banned or suspended them when they believed they were following the platform's rules. Many felt that those guidelines are not enforced consistent. Know that many celebrities, such as Kim Kardashian, Britney Spears, post risque and near-nude photos and don't get hit with the same bans. When our accounts are ripped away without breaking community guidelines, you might not be able to pay rent. You might not be able to pay your mortgage. You might not be able to feed yourself. Again, why do you build your brand on another platform? This, this, there is this. You can have your own .com. You can have your own website. For God's sake, I'm offering you one with GoDaddy for $36 a year to get started. Of course, it'd probably get crushed with all the traffic, but they got bigger plans. Go set up house on your own website. Use Instagram purely to push people over there. Don't get it. We already talked about that. Well, finally, something more on the tech side. Over at Bleeping Computer, Cloudflare announced they blocked record 71 million RPS denial of service attack. They say it's the largest volumetric distributed denial of service attack to date. The company said detect mitigated not just one, but waves of dozens of volume denial of service attack targeting its customers over the weekend. Majority attacks peaked in a ballpark of 50 to 70 million requests per second, with the largest exceeding 71 million requests per second. This is the largest HTTP denial of service attack on record, with more than 35% higher than previous recorded 46 million records per second in June 22. The attacks were launched using over 30,000 IP addresses from multiple cloud providers against various targets, including gaming providers, cloud computing platforms, cryptocurrency firms, and hosting providers. So that's a significant amount of traffic. And so anyway, that's going to bring us to close to the end. Don't leave. Don't leave. Can't leave yet. Why? Because I have a very, very important announcement. I want to thank Sasha. She's saying, in case you accept video tips, DIB just released it today. Timeline of the most visited website starting in 1995 till today. Sasha, do you listen to the show, or did you just think I was going to include that without me checking it first? Please, if you are a listener of the show and you send me a link, please tell me what episode you listened to or just something, because when I get these, I thought, all right, I don't think this was really for the show. I think this was just something for me to try to get to post a link. So I'm not necessarily going to do that. But Sasha, if you email me back, say, listen to your latest show, and I really am a listener, I will do that. Okay, as always, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, @geeknews on Twitter. Boost. I want to hear those boost, because at some point, I don't have it hooked up. Well, maybe I can. Maybe I can get it ready. Let's see if I can do this before we leave. I want to play something for you. Hang on. All right, click. Let's see if I can get the right keypad. And because if you call into the show, and is it that one? Or is it this one? Where's it at? Oh, okay. I can't remember which bank I put it on. Which bank did I put it on? Oh, there it is. All right. If you send in a big boost, you send in over 100,000 Satoshis as a boost to the program, this is what you're going to get to hear on the show.
Baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala.
So that's what you'll get. You'll be a big baller here on the show. Just like a big gambler showing up to the casino. So boost the show. We definitely appreciate it when you do. And again, go over to newpodcastapps.com, newpodcastapps.com. You'll notice, knock on wood here right now, Blueberry Podcasting is some of the leaders in adoption of Podcasting 2.0 features. So if you're thinking about becoming a podcaster, I got a 30-day free promo code for you on Geek News Central to get started. But again, if you're a podcaster listening, we will migrate you for free. And my team is very experienced in moving podcasters from all kinds of platforms. You can be lit and live. You can participate in value for value. You can use all the brand new features that we've introduced as part of this initiative. And as you, as a listener, I want you to participate. 2 apps, Podverse. Podverse is the one where you can experience the live. You can watch me live or listen live. That's a great one. There's several others as well, but we're promoting Podverse this week. Go on the App Store, iOS or Android, download Podverse. It's probably of the most highly functional GUIs out there on the basically in this new development cycle. So please consider that. Go over to newpodcastapps.com again, or I think podcastapp.com as well is a new domain they scored. Maybe not quite yet, but just use newpodcastapps.com. But it's my pleasure bringing the show, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, @geeknews. And if you've been watching, hey, Skip, thanks for watching and saying hello. And I didn't see Kurt's live comment, but we appreciate everyone being here and watching and being lit. I'll be back with you on Thursday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala.